show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today. Previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday, and the trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I'm, of course, your host, that guy, James J., alongside the leader of Squash Squad, Kaliko Yachts, who may be joining us a little later tonight, but who is joining us at the beginning, the American Spitter Dust.
Ah, 365 days until I turn 40.
Yes. 365 days until you go poof.
Yep, basically.
Yeah. It was a good week for Wrestling with, as we interviewed last Tuesday Layla James, and then on Wednesday Ryan Coren. Two incredible interviews, two incredible people. Very different interviews to say the least. But we cannot recommend either of those interviews more. And you could definitely go into the archives to check them out. This upcoming Tuesday, we have our first ever referee, Tristan Stone, on the show. It's an incredible chat, incredible human being. We talk about the hazards of being a UK referee, um, possibly an in-ring debut in the next couple months as a actual pro wrestler. Andros J, Ted Sabin, and a hell of a lot more. And this upcoming Wednesday, Vito Frattinelli, another incredible interview from my neck of the woods. We talk about matches against Blue Demon Jr., Ultimate Guerrera, Psychosis, Lost Crazy Chickens, and weightlifting, how he lost his front tooth, and a hell of a lot more. But don't take my word for it. Check out some clips right now.
So, second song would have to be Voices by Motionless in White.
Okay.
Like that song just yes. Unfortunately, it's Ted Sabin's entrance music, so he's a bit of a dick. But incredible song, but he bullies me about the same as Andros J.
Don't like the person, love the song.
Exactly. Hate the person, love the song.
It's about wrestling Lost Crazy Chickens. And if that match ever discourage you from eating at Los Pollo Loco.
Man. So at Lucha Vavoom, we worked the chickens twice. It was I think it was their Cinco de Mayo show, so it was like May 4th and May 5th last year, and I tagged with Chaz Aquaman, and we fought those chickens. The first night they got the best of us. The second night we brought a little surprise for them, so we were like, "Happy Cinco de Mayo." We brought them basically Christmas presents, and inside those Christmas presents were buckets of KFC.
Oh,
And we beat the chickens with the chickens. I was throwing popcorn chicken in people's mouths in the audience. We were putting the chicken buckets on the chicken's head. It was great.
Alright. And then stay tuned to our X page, still feel free to say, our Twitter page, Wrestling with E, for information on who we're going to be interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. And you could find out who we're interviewing on Instagram as well, at Wrestling with E. Alright, now that we're done putting ourselves over, it was, once again, not a great week for wrestling, as we lost another wrestling alumni of a different breed this time. Bob Barker died. Um, and when you think about that era of WWE when he guest hosted, not my favorite era, but when Bob Barker hosted that Raw, it was arguably the greatest Raw of that era. No,
To see Chris Jericho wearing the Price is Right name tag right on his chest.
yes,
Oh man! Of course, when he knocked out Chavo.
with a chop.
Uh, well, I will never forget to spay or neuter my pets. That's for sure.
For sure. Obviously, the Price is Right legend. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the friends and family. Alright, and now we are wrestling with the news. And we're going to be talking all in a little bit. But a piece of news that came out of that show before it even began was Jack Perry getting into an altercation with CM Punk. After his match with Hook, he was coming back from Gorilla. CM Punk was in Gorilla. CM Punk told them to, if he had something to say it to his face. And Jack Perry shoved him, apparently. Whoever you want to believe in the scenario. Jack Perry said, if do something about it, which then Punk proceeded to put him in a chokehold.
I had heard that it that it had a lot to do with Harry insisting he used real glass in his match, and supposedly, Punk was vocal about it.
Right.
Uh,
This was a couple weeks ago on Collision. Jungle Boy was no Jack Perry was doing some pre-tapes for Wednesday. Wanted to use a real glass bottle. Punk and a couple other people told them that's maybe not the wisest decision. Um, and Jack was apparently not happy that that story got out.
the general consensus, apparently, from uh, what we know, is that they're both being held at fault here. Neither one is necessarily being punished more than the other. I mean, we know Perry was actually kicked out of Wembley Stadium.
Punk left on his own accord.
Punk left on his own accord. Of course, everyone was like, "Not again." I mean, at this point, Tony Khan's going to have to create a show for every night of the week just so Punk can have a paycheck.
I mean, we'll talk about the repercussions because obviously both people got suspended. And you said nobody's getting punished more than the other. I feel like Punk is getting punished a little bit more because obviously, later today, it's actually no, tomorrow. Tomorrow is All Out and it's in Chicago and he's not on that card unless something drastic happens later today on Collision.
Which makes me wonder if we're being played.
This was a
I mean, think about this for a second. You just had the biggest show in the history of your company. And for some strange reason, you booked another pay-per-view the next weekend, which I think is BS and asking for too much money from the fans. If
And
it was
there
on a
was
streaming service,
never a package deal to get both.
yeah, that's what I thought. But if you bought All In, you should get All Out for free. But that's I'll talk about that more later. But the new think about this: the news spreads that Punk is suspended, and it's almost like they're saying, "Well, guess you guess we're gonna have All Out in Punk's hometown without Punk." I would put money on Punk, and I'm using air quotes here, hijacking the show.
Walk or shoot?
In a work.
Okay.
Um,
I don't think AEW is smart enough to do something like that, but okay.
no, but Punk is.
Yeah, you might not be wrong about that.
I mean that's almost a trademark Punk move at this point. But I mean, and speaking of Jack Perry, I think that there's somebody else we have to talk about, and that's Rob Van Dam. If you had bought tickets for WrestleMania, which of course is happening in Philly, ECW country, there was one of the events, whatever you want to call it, was titled an ECW Experience with Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam is apparently of the belief that even though he had permission to work AEW, that it might derail his WrestleMania plans. I don't know if that's RVD smoking the wrong strain, but it seems like Jack Perry is apparently a trouble magnet, which is I have the quote here. RVD suspects his WrestleMania 40 spot is in jeopardy due to collaboration with AEW, in spite of having permission to do so. The 52-year-old Hall of Famer demonstrated that he still possesses considerable skill. I don't know what match they were watching.
Maybe they were watching it back with Rob, and the essence was influencing them.
They all got contact time, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the only person I could really see taking any issue with this is Vince. But Vince, I don't think is going to be saying anything on record for quite some time. So honestly, I don't think it's going to affect RVD's, his Access event, because let's face it, it's paid for already, and you're gonna have a lot more pissed off fans that will start demanding money if it's changed to anything. Think about the people that bought it specifically to have that experience with Rob Van Dam.
Right.
So, yeah, I just thought that was a worthy piece of news while we had Jack Perry on the brain.
And, I mean, I don't think anything that... if they cared about what he did in AEW, they wouldn't have let him do it in the first place.
Wait a minute. Okay. Tony Khan will have there will be an update on Punk before All Out. Uh, there are also rumors that the footage of the whole incident exists.
Yes.
There's footage of it. I didn't even know that. That it was released on purpose to speed up any internal investigation AEW is doing. As of right now, Punk and Perry still suspended. Presumably, I believe, Rampage was live
I didn't.
or is live.
I thought Vampire was recorded.
Because something on Rampage. I can't say this without breaking kayfabe here. Because there's a match on Rampage is going to determine what I'm presuming to be the main event for All Out. So I mean,
you're talking about Alex Silver and Alex Reynolds and Silver winning the tag team tournament, right?
the Battle Royal. I can't imagine any other match being the main event.
Oh well, we'll talk about what's going to be the main event when we get to it, because it's a very interesting card to say the least.
Come on, Hobbs and Miro. Come on, Hobbs and Miro.
But you feel like, is it at this point, okay, it's CM Punk. He got into another squirmus, or he got into another argument, or he got into another fight, or is this more a Jack Perry problem? Because I mean, Jack has to know at this point about Punk, and he still did that. You know what I mean? It seemed like he was looking for the issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but again, this really. I mean, the whole incident with Punk and the Elite was a lot more a lot more buzzworthy, and there was no footage of it.
Because they're vice presidents of the company. They have, stake in the actual company. Jack Perry's just a lemming on the roster.
This just seems too coincidental.
How do you feel that how Tony Khan dealt with this, suspending both guys? It seems a little severe.
I think if this was legit, Tony was backed into a corner. If he wasn't, if there weren't so many witnesses, I'm not sure Punk would get suspended.
So you're saying that he suspended them to make the locker room happy?
Yes, and from one report, it's saying that the fact that Punk and Perry received equal punishment actually was a morale booster.
Now, when I think about things like this, my first thought goes to the Jericho Goldberg incident. Um, a while back ago, where there was an altercation between them in the backstage area that people said Jericho won. Needleman got suspended. As far as I know, Needleman got fined. Is this just Tony Khan being um, paranoid about getting a lawsuit involved? Or does he really believe that, this is the right decision?
I don't think there would be any grounds for a lawsuit unless either of them were fired. Um, I mean, they could be, they could be essentially suspended for anything if you think about it. Um, this
Chewing
is,
gum, using real glass.
yeah, not wearing a suit backstage,
Not wearing underwear underneath your suit.
not wearing clothes. Uh, Asking people if they want to see your trouser snake, the usual stuff. Um,
I think this just shows what kind of leader Tony Khan is. That, he's made, instead of, just sweeping it under the rug as, something that happened, an isolated incident between the boys, and making it into something that it doesn't necessarily have to be. Now, I understand, the first time with the Elite, it was, somewhat of a big deal because, they wasn't wrestlers, they were vice presidents. So, you have to take things as they come, but Jack Perry is just a wrestler, and CM Punk's a wrestler. So it was just a fight between essentially co-workers at this point. I don't think it should have been as blown out of proportion as it did, as it was.
I mean, I could see Tony Bennett going, "Hey guys, it's me, Tony Khan. Look at me. I suspended them both. That makes me a good boss, right? Right?"
Oh, definitely. With those big beady eyes that don't seem to blink.
Now, I'm going to pick 9 of you, no, I'm sorry, 11 of you to play an exhibition game against the Jaguars.
And the wrestlers would win. The Jaguars suck.
Well, I didn't say in what sport.
Oh, twist. Or swerve, bro. With a swerve.
Yes, they'll be playing extreme chess.
What makes it extreme? Jeff Hardy's playing it.
Um, uh, after every move, you have to cut off a finger.
Wow, that's intense.
It's extreme.
John Moxley would do that in a fucking heartbeat.
Well, I mean, put it this way. I mean, AEW is single-handedly responsible for new strains of hepatitis that reach past the American alphabet and go right to the Greek alphabet with all the blood they spill.
Without a doubt. And speaking of blood spilled, um, Sasha Monet is going to be working a match for AEW.
When she gets out of that boot.
And when she gets killed to wrestle as well.
It looks like she's gonna be the female member of the Acclaimed. If her appearance on camera during All In is any indication.
I don't think that's an indication. I think it was just when she got to the venue. If they could have shot the women's title match a little later, I feel like her face would have been plastered on there.
But they showed her they showed her that she was there before the earlier in the, almost near the start of the event, and then the next time we see her, it's after the Acclaim match, and she's or no, I'm sorry, is it during Max's bars or is it after? I think it's during Max's bars.
Before and after, I believe.
Yeah, and she was rocking out it. I know the rumors of the Acclaimed getting a female member are very high.
Can you have a woman that scissors in the Acclaim?
Women invented scissoring.
I'm not a complete idiot, but I mean, is it somewhat inappropriate?
Oh, scissor me, Sasha.
Oh,
Oh, scissor me, Sasha. Or or scissor me, Casca.
I don't know. Does Sasha really fit in the Acclaim?
Mercedes Monet DeLorean.
Well, let me rephrase the question. If Mercedes Monet has a match in AEW, does anybody care?
No, and I think that's a lot of. I think it's a lot to do. I think you could say a lot about that statement alone as it pertains to All In.
I mean, the only match I could say that I'd be interested in seeing is her versus Nightingale again, just for the simple fact that she injured her in their match. So getting a little comeuppance, getting a little revenge, that makes sense to me. Do I want to see Sasha versus Paige? No. Do I want to see Britt Baker versus Sasha? No. Would I be okay with seeing Tony versus Sasha? Yes.
Yes,
But
Tony Khan versus Sasha.
yes. I think that's what we're getting right now as we're waiting for an actual match. But if they do something with her, it will be interesting to see what exactly they do with her. I'm pretty sure this is all but confirmed, but the writers of Ouchie are returning to WWE. The authors of Pain.
Right? Ouchie. You gotta work on that material, James. I haven't seen anything. What happened to their Peruvian promotion? I think it was Peru.
I don't think it was Peruvian.
It was in another country. Oh, it's Middle East, I think. Yeah.
It got canceled and they never got it back up and running.
By the way, I do have a note on what the supposed All Out main event was apparently supposed to be.
Pumpkin Starks.
Pumpkin Starks, yep.
Yeah.
Pumpkin Starks. Get yours today at Dunkin' Donuts. It's Pumpkin Stark season.
Back to Jaime and Ishmael.
I mean,
Do you think that
first of all, yeah.
Do you think that this is a good get by WWE that they're actually going to do something, or is it are they back in the woods essentially?
Uh, hmm. Uh, uh, I don't know, but they if I mean apparently they've been under contract for more than a year.
What? Really?
They've apparently been under contract since 2022. They were re-signed between Vince retiring and unretiring. They were brought back right before Vince was put back in charge. This also includes Paul Ellering.
Wow, I didn't hear that.
But according to the PW Mania, but apparently the potential is putting them back on NXT.
Oh, so basically the island of irrelevancy.
Yeah. That might not be the worst decision since NXT seems to have a more concrete tag team division than the main roster at this point.
I don't know. But I mean, the last time we saw them on WWE TV,
Was
they
the
were
last
part,
yeah.
they were
Was the
part
last
of Seth
pandemic.
Rollins' Monday Night Messiah gimmick, no?
Yes, the last time we actually saw them on WWE, March 9th, 2020, the last Raw before the pandemic. Live Raw, I should say, with an audience. Then it was them, Rollins, Buddy Matthews, Buddy Murphy, my buddy,
Don't call me Buddy
against,
Pal.
I'm not your pal, friend, against the Viking Prophets, or the Street Raiders.
One of those.
Uh, um,
From what you're saying, it sounds like they're already being misused.
mm, mm, yeah, it seems it, it seems like that. Uh, it's okay. So their promotion was supposed to have a show on July 9th in England.
I believe we reviewed that, if I'm not mistaken.
The card never happened.
We previewed it, I mean.
Mm, I mean, the main event was supposed to be Moose versus Alistair Overeem.
You said Moose.
Uh, Nia Jax versus To Be Decided.
It was Lana.
The Legion of Pain against BT Gunn and Tez Evans, whoever that is. Portia Parrott and Anastasia against the She-Wolves, whoever they are. Oh my. Damo Mackey, aka Killian Dane. What a stupid fucking name.
I believe it's
Against
pronounced Damo.
Demo. You said Demo. against D Mutati, aka Mojo Rawley. Eric Young versus Zach Zodiac, Raya's brother. Levi Valenzuela Jr., No Way Jose. Funny enough, I know somebody who now knows No Way Jose personally. I'm not sure how to feel on that. More to come in the future. Against UK superstar Jody Fleisch. Of course, it never happened. Refunds were issued, and I believe a couple of people were even stuck in the stocks. You know, they had to like stand there with their arms and their neck in the thing. I don't fucking know. If they come back, great. If they don't, I don't think anybody will be too disappointed.
I agree. And more on Jack Perry and CM Punk. Um, if you hear anywhere down the line that Jack Perry was killed during a drive-by shooting, you know who did it.
Yep. Suge Knight.
I was gonna say Cash Wimmer, but okay. Um, On to some good stuff. Impact Wrestling. This upcoming Thursday is celebrating their 1,000th episode. Um, you know, Impact, TNA, whatever you want to call it, has been the brunt of more than a few jokes. But to say that you reached 1,000 episodes is, you know, no easy feat. So really, congratulations to them to getting to that point. No, Scooter?
I gotta do the math on that for a second. Hold on. Well, I can tell you, I'm certainly gonna keep up my 1,000 episode streak of not watching it.
Oh, come on. Impact's
Yeah,
not that bad.
no, it's a little more than 19 years worth of Impact. If we're going by one show a week.
And I believe that we are.
Um, you know, good for them. But they're their shell of what they used to be and what they could have been.
I mean,
Uh,
I feel like they're secure in who they are right now, and that is essentially the Ring of Honor spot. Where, you know, if they give talent to WWE, it's not going to affect their relationship with AEW. If they give people to AEW, it's not going to affect WWE. They're essentially the little buddy of pro wrestling. It's not gonna affect anything that they do or anything business of any other promotion.
and
So they just kind of capitalize on it and enjoy it. You know what I mean?
yeah, uh, and honestly, I might say that they're leaning more towards WWE being the little buddy of WWE, given that Nick Aldis is in line to become a producer.
I heard that as well. But
He's shadowing somebody, but we'll finally get Nick Aldis in a Royal Rumble.
maybe. On that card, Awesome Kong is coming out of retirement after 3 years of retirement. For a match, so that should be fun. And the Dudley Boys, Team 3D, Devon Dudley and Bubba Ray Dudley will be teaming up for the first time in 7 years. for that event. Like I said, it takes place September 9th. I'm gonna watch it. I recommend you watch it as well. Now, something I would recommend watching, or continue watching, or maybe you should be watching.
Wait a minute, hold on. That House of Impact is going to be in White Plains. That's only a half-hour drive past the bridge for me. Hmm.
Don't pretend like you're actually gonna go.
No, I plan to go to Grand Slam, so.
Because I know it's a real struggle to get those pants on, Scooter.
I mean, hey, when you wear size -6 pants,
Is your legs like in, introverted
uh,
into your chest or something?
I just have a really big dick.
Will you stop it? Real quick, friend of the show, Jack Carlos with his tag team partner Daisy Kill won the NWA United States Tag Team Championships. From also friends of the show, Agent Kazama and Anthony um, Anthony Andrews at the 25th at the 75th anniversary of NWA. So, oh my god, why was it so fucking hard to say that? Congratulations to Jack, obviously a friend of the show. Also on that show, EC3 won the NWA Championship from Tyrus, and now Tyrus has to retire for the stipulation of the match. Is this a hallelujah moment, Stu?
Well, all I know is somebody better call his mama. Ah,
He held the NWA Championship for 289 days. If you ask me, that's 289 days too long.
he's the second longest reigning Republican in history.
What?
You know, I heard he was gonna be VP if a certain uh, pumpkin-headed idiot ran for president again. VP Vice President Tyrus.
I don't think he's going to WWE at this point. It was rumored in anyone that he only lost the championship because of some comments he made on a political show. Um, but I feel like NWA at this point might actually be in a good position because he was the main reason I wasn't watching NWA at this point. Because I just don't like the guy. Political political agendas aside, he's not an intriguing person, and there has been allegations against him um, otherwise. So is this actually a really great thing if Tyrus doesn't come back to NWA and maybe they could actually pick up some fans now that he is actually gone, if he actually is gone?
Please let him go to AEW, God. Uh, Maybe they can finally learn what not to do. I mean, I honestly, it, they'll probably, the fan base will probably slightly increase but no one's saying, "Oh man, I gotta get home so I can watch the NWA."
Because EC3 puts asses in seats.
Well, that's what makes him him and you.
Alright, I think that concludes the news. I'm a lot longer.
And oh wait,
Yeah.
one more piece. AEW has finally picked up the most valuable free agent in all of independent wrestling. Of course, I'm talking about the bounty hunter, Brian Keith.
Yay.
That's exactly the response, with the question mark at the end and everything. All right.
That concludes the news. And now a quick word from our sponsors. So,
Rogue Energy, the only gaming drink company in the world with 4 unique product lines to suit your task at hand, whether it be juices, shakes, smoothies, and everything else in between. Their low-calorie, no-sugar energy formula is the perfect alternative to sugar-filled canned energy drinks and sodas. Their extreme formula provides the most energy, focus, and sports performance possible. Their hydration line offers focus, ingredients without the added caffeine. Drink it anytime you're thirsty. And their shake formula is so delicious. Who doesn't love a cookies and cream, 0-calorie energy milkshake? First and foremost, they've designed every Rogue product line with performance and effectiveness in mind. It is critical that you look at the nutrition panels of drinks when comparing options. There are countless off-brands out there that are presenting low-quality, poorly dosed formulas that amount to expensive caffeine water. Every formula they produce is designed with optimal levels of high-quality ingredients. Additionally, you won't find a powdered gaming drink brand that dissolves better. No need to have chalky textures in your drink. Their taste profiles are unmatched, specifically designed for gamers, athletes, students, entrepreneurs, people with hectic schedules, individuals with low energy, podcasters who can't shut up, people who are health conscious, and so much more. Great as both a pre-workout and as a coffee energy drink replacement. Specifically designed every Rogue product line to be the best gaming drink on the planet. Rogue Energy, more focus, more wins.
use promo code WRESTLINGWITHE for 10% off your next purchase. And we are wrestling with AEW All In 2023. It took place at Wembley Stadium in London, England, in front of 81 billion people. It was the biggest event in pro wrestling history ever in the world ever. Um, that being said, honestly, I didn't hate it. I thought I wasn't gonna like a lot of the shit that they did, but it actually held my attention for, I want to say, a good majority of the time. Only a couple of times I jumped off of it. Um, what say you, Scooter? How did you feel about the show as a whole?
It was disappointing. It was absolutely disappointing. This, at no point did it feel like an epic event. Your promotion, you're the second top promotion in the country. You have the opportunity to do a show in that that fans on the other side of the globe have been dying for over 30 years. And that card is what you give them? That's abysmal. The card barely kept my attention as is. And I will go on record saying this. it did not sell out because it was AEW. It sold out because it was pro wrestling in Wembley Stadium.
So you're saying if WWE did that show, that it would have sold out?
Yes,
If it was Ring of Honor, it would have sold out.
Ring of Honor would they never get the money to do that, and if they were a solitary promotion,
New
but
Japan.
New Japan would never do a show at Wembley.
Why not?
I mean, how long did it take to get them to do a show in the States?
It was a while. Let's get into it. CM Punk defeated Samoa Joe in 14 minutes for the Real World Championship. Maybe it was the altercation with Jack Perry just prior to this match, but I just wasn't really feeling it. It was kind of all over the place. It was kind of hectic. It was kind of crazy. It was kind of lame in a sense because they did the whole hulking up spot. That was a little wonky. And CM Punk and Samoa Joe have had a lot better matches than this.
Yeah, they were also a lot younger.
I mean, even the one on Collision a couple of months ago was better than this, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say that the match on Collision was good.
What was your thoughts on the match?
This it was okay, but I think putting them on first was smart because that meant there was more oxygen for the rest of the crowd.
I give this 2.5 stars. Scooter?
Same.
Bullet
Yeah.
Club Gold, son of Paul J. White, Mrs. Robinson's baby boy, and Take Shitta, defeated the Golden Elite, Twinkle Toes McFingerfuck, Kodak Ibushi, and Hangman Pagey.
Christ. Yeah, I think that do something like Kenny Omega.
Oh, well, that's what Coda calls him.
Yes, the Golden Showers.
This didn't really bother me as much as it could have. I'm shocked that it actually went 20 minutes and 30 seconds. It seemed like it was a lot less. Huh?
My problem with this match?
Yeah.
Two things. It went too long, and the ending was really out of place for somebody like Kenny Omega.
Because I feel like this match was more to set up the All In match than the All Out match than, being an actual match for the card.
Ding, ding, ding. I mean, to borrow a phrase from Tony Storm, this is the point where the show starts going tits up. But nobody. Do you honestly care about a match between Kenny Omega and Konosuke Takeshita?
I mean, during the match, I took a Taketsuka, so. Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't even enough to get me out of bed. Of course, it takes a lot to get me out of bed to begin with, but
I mean, you could always watch it at a decent hour like I did. Wait until 8 o'clock. I think like 7 I watched it at. So, I believe both of our experiences were rated R, right?
yes. Oh no. Oh god. Oh, I. Oh, I'm sorry, but I think I've just learned what the replacement main event for all it's going to be.
Well, we're going to save that for when we preview All Out in a couple moments. Um. Oh, how many stars do you give Elite versus Bullet Club Gold?
I give them the amount in minutes it took me to take Shida 2.
I'll go 2.5. I wasn't as bothered about it. Alright, now we got FTR, Cash, look out, he's got a gun, Wheeler, and Dax Hardwood versus the Middle-Aged Bucks. They defeated the Middle-Aged Bucks for the World Tag Team Championships to retain them in 21 minutes and 45 seconds. I was not honestly, I had ambitions going in this match. I was somewhat invested. I was more invested in the FTR winning than the Young Bucks versus FTR, if I'm being honest. And that was the only thing that really got me out of my seat. That being said, it wasn't their best match that they've had together. I think the first one was the best, but that's up for debate. But what say you, Scooter? Did you like the match? Didn't like the match?
I liked it. I did. I thought this was the best match on the card so far. The best showing. But again, this is supposed to be, or at least that's what they were trying to imply, that this was AEW's WrestleMania, and this was not pulling out all the punches. You know how they say no flips, just fists?
Yep.
It was no flips, just fits. Um, yes, it was an above average match. But I can't help thinking what we could have seen instead.
I think a lot of the consensus was a rematch between Gin and Juice versus FTR. That was the thing that a lot of people were saying that could have been the match that replaced this one. Yes, no?
Yeah. Yep.
Alright, how many stars do you give this one?
I'm gonna give it 3.5.
I'm going to give it 4 for the simple fact that the right people won. Alright,
And the wrong kid died.
Huh?
The right people, the right team won. The wrong kid died.
Yeah,
You ever see Walk Hard?
Rock Hard? I know.
Walk, Walk Hard, Dewey Cox story, John C. Riley, the John, where he plays it. Never mind.
We got the next match, Stadium Stampede. A one Edward Kingston, Penta El Zero Mero, Estrella, Morocco, Generico, Matilda,
Sanchez.
Chucky, Chucky T, Trent, freshly pooped Orange Cassidy. They defeated the Combat Wombats, John Moxicillin, Claudio Itacanoli, Dord Wheeler Yuta, Mike Sonata, and Ortiz. And 21 minutes and 30 seconds. It
Mike's not.
it is what you thought it was going to be, and that's a clusterfuck of what the fuck.
By the way, no, for people wondering, that was not Bo Dallas.
Yes, no.
Even though it looked so much like him.
I mean, was you expecting anything different than what it actually was?
I mean, I was hoping for Carlos Santana, quite honestly.
Is that why they call him Mike Santana? They're afraid people are going to get confused.
With who? Tito? I
Um,
mean, do we really need another confrontation over last names between people named Mike and Tito? This ain't the Jackson 5 here.
you know, I mean, they have like 15 people called Cage and Page, so
I know. I mean, Cage and Page, they're all the rage when they're on that stage.
announced by Nick Cage.
You know, I was really hoping that this Stadium Stampede match was going to be contested under the rules they've established for the Stadium Stampede mode for Fight Forever, which is basically going to be a wrestling version of Fortnite. They should have been jumping out of buses, grabbing, everything from gray to green to blue to purple to gold weapons.
Well,
And
I mean, Penta upgraded himself from Penta L0 to Penta Escara. The motherfucker had a costume change mid-match.
I mean, that's the question. Was that costume change live?
I mean, how could they have taped it?
I mean, Stadium Stampede match is supposed to go all over the stadium, right?
I mean, they was in the bleachers and the cheap seats, so they did do stuff, I suppose.
But I mean, we should have seen them cranking them 90s, built-in walls, drinking potions.
Oh, I'm more than sure that Moxley was drinking potions.
Gotta keep it respectful for the man in recovery. That's one line I will not cross yet.
I mean, you would have to be smoking something in order to think that this was a good match, no?
Yeah, that's true. I think this might have been better if it was an empty stadium match.
The reason the Stadium Stampede worked when it did was
Because it was empty.
yes. And, you could go all around the arena and do stupid shit because you didn't really care because, it was a cinematic match. you could have one person in this part of the arena and another person in that part of the arena, etc., etc. It just doesn't work anymore. I will say
Uh,
that this was the most tamed of all of the Anarchy in the arenas and Stadium Stampede matches. So, that was somewhat appreciated.
there's supposed to be two different match types. I
It's only two.
I
They
know.
just changed the name.
Yep. Yeah. I'm honestly I'm surprised that one they didn't try to see if they could have a match in Buckingham Palace.
Oh, I'm sure they tried, but
For the first ever Pain in the Palace match. And I'm surprised they didn't try to do a match on London Bridge. Kara on the Thames.
how many stars would you give this one?
Um, I give it. I give it 2.5 portions of spotted dick.
You know what? I agree. Next match, Soraya, don't call me Soraya, defeated Who Are You, Sheeta. Brett never seen her bake anything, and Tony with an ice storm in 8 minutes and 50 seconds to become the new AEW Women's Champion. Was it the right call, considering where they was? I guess
Mm,
just the moment with her family, I get it. But if we're talking about, logical pro wrestling, and I know AEW doesn't do logical very well, she was the least qualified in this match to actually win it. No?
this was what her maybe fourth match ever in AEW.
Yeah, something about that.
This is an example of Tony Khan misunderstanding the difference between booking and fan service.
This was 100% fan service.
But if you ask real wrestling fans, they'll say that Soraya was not the right choice. I mean, I have to say, I love I now love seeing Toni Storm after she's lost the title because she puts like everything into it. Like
This,
it
legitimately, this has been the best work of her life.
yes, it literally like she goes she becomes a Hollywood starlet who looks like she might, lock herself in a room and
She's
take
unstable.
illegal substances. Um, Also, at the same time, the fact the way this match ended, by all means, the Outcasts should not be together anymore.
You're not entirely wrong, but is that. Would you maybe attribute that to maybe the other two girls didn't want to take a L to Soraya?
It's I don't know because honestly they I don't think either of them would have the courage actually to say I'm not I'm not doing the job for Soraya.
seems like you have a lot more faith in the women's division than other people do.
It's this is literally it. They wanted to top Soraya's WWE debut by claiming she won by setting the milestone up. She won her first AEW women's title in her home country. This was not about the match itself. It was not about the performance of each of the women. This was all about the reaction and the pop that would come after the 3 count.
Oh yeah.
Why do you think it was under 10 minutes? Because I don't think they're sure Saraya could go more than 10 minutes.
Well, I will say this. I didn't necessarily think the match was that bad, considering that was only 8 minutes. There was lots of gaga and craziness that played into the story.
Lady
Which,
Gaga wasn't
huh?
Lady Gaga wasn't there.
Oh well, there was a lot of gaga. Um,
Radio Gaga. But, I mean, it's funny that,
and
So,
in yeah, but
see, they could have really used Emi Sakura, the one who dresses like Freddie Mercury.
oh my god, you're absolutely right. If there was any time to use her, this would be it, right?
I mean, imagine the entire AEW crowd starting to sing Radio Gaga, like when it happened at Live Aid.
Um, so everything I said, it wasn't. I didn't think it was that bad of a match, considering what it was. There was a lot of gaga, which I appreciated. Um, and if it was under any other circumstances, I probably wouldn't say this. But considering that it was in her hometown in front of the biggest crowd that they're ever going to have, and this is probably it for Saraya after this, I think the right person won. So, that being said, how many stars do you give this one, Scooter?
Two and a half.
I give it 3. Going from Gaga to Kaka, Debbie Allen and Stung defeated Christian Cage and Swerve Bro in a coffin match that lasted 16 minutes. This is definitely the match I felt went way too long. Too much happened. Didn't care. Meh.
Somebody pointed out something very interesting. Well, maybe not interesting, but Sting has yet to lose in AEW.
Is that interesting?
I think it's I think people forgot about keeping track of his record and then realized it, because now we know this means Sting is never gonna lose now.
Was he ever going to lose?
If it's to put the right person over.
And I mean, who's the right person?
Bruce Wayne. I mean Nick Wayne. I mean, who knows at this point? Give us Sting and CM Punk, and and make Sting retire.
What I heard about Sting was that he his ring gear since coming back has been like a woman wrestling in Saudi Arabia, head to toe cloth.
I mean, it does seem like he's actually literally starting to go Joker insane. So,
Yeah. I mean, what did you think about that rap performance for Swerve's entrance?
rap in England. I'm surprised they didn't try to counter it with you know British metal.
Well, I mean, I'm impressed that guy got paid to dance at Wembley Stadium and not dance very well either.
I mean, they think about it. They could have brought in Hammer.
Well, if you bring in Hammer, you gotta bring in Nail, right?
Funny enough, because Nails was at the last pay-per-view at Wembley Stadium.
How many stars do you give this one?
Less stars than the first coffin match in '92. Um, two stars. This is
I agree.
no, just yeah.
Will Ospreay versus Chris Jericho. 14 minutes and 55 seconds. Ospreay went off. Ospreay went over. Meh.
I nobody's more vocal about why this match happened than me.
Mm-hmm.
This match won me over.
Really?
I thought, aside after FTR and the Young Bucks, this was the second best match of the night.
Interesting. Honestly, I didn't like it. It didn't make sense to me. Who was the good guy? Who was the bad guy? Was there anybody in the right? Was there anybody in the wrong?
Is there anybody to the left?
Was there any? Yeah. It just there was too many hurdles to mentally figure out to actually enjoy the match, in my opinion. And I mean, and then you have Chris Jericho singing before the show, and he only did that to say that while he performed at Wembley. And yeah,
Waka waka.
how many stars?
I'm gonna be nice, and I'm gonna give it 3.5.
I'll give it 3. The Acclaimed, Anthony Bowens, Max Caster, Father Ass. They defeated the House of Black with no black people in it. Milwaukee Black, Brody Borgo King, and Don't Call Me Pal, Buddy Matthews. House rules, no holds barred, 6-man tag team match. They won the trios championships in 10 minutes and 50 seconds. Um, considering it was only 10 minutes, it didn't go long, and what they did I found interesting, maybe because I just like these guys. It worked for me. What say you, Squirrel?
This match went too short. And for a house rules match, there really wasn't a lot of, weapons involved.
Well, I mean, how is they going to have more weapons than Moxley? No, Orange Cassidy putting glass on his taped hands and all the stupid shit that Moxley did.
Who knows? But you know what? I'm more disappointed that Max got very little. Didn't get many bars out.
I think they were probably running short on time at this point.
It was like so much, and like what, 4 lines? That's it? Oh man! But hey, they get custom trios titles that now can scissor each other.
And they scissored Julia Hart as well.
Yes. Nothing beats a surprise leg drop to the vagina.
And was that supposed to be the spot where Sasha came in? Sasha and Julia scissoring?
I mean, unless Julia was pregnant with Sasha.
What?
You said that would be the spot for Sasha to come in. Are you implying she would come out of Julia?
No, to come out from the crowd, to come into the match.
Well, that's not what you said the first time. I mean, considering that this is, that Julia Hart was the first person named Hart to be in this Wembley Stadium pay-per-view. Yeah, I'm happy you Acclaimed won. I really was hoping for Scissor Me Uncle Bart, but hey. Again, this is an average match. Probably the best thing about this match was the entrance for the House of Black.
When they came out in white, even though they're black.
The tribute to Bray.
That too.
Yeah, but I don't think there's anything else I could say about this match, quite honestly.
It worked for me. It was a cool little moment for Daddy Ass, and a feel-good moment at the end. I give it 3.5 stars. Scooter?
3.
Alright, then we have the last match, the main event. The main event of the world's biggest pro wrestling event ever. MJF versus Budge for the AEW World Championship. It lasted 29 minutes. I wasn't interested in this match. I didn't like this match. I don't know. I was waiting for somebody to turn on somebody. The psychology was good. The actual match part was okay. I didn't really have a problem with it, but I don't know. It just didn't hit for me.
This was not a stadium level main event. We all knew that from the get-go. There was only one match that is ever going to be a stadium filler. and that's Punk Omega. That's never going to happen now.
Nope.
Do you know what? I'm going to see if you can figure this out. Do you know what pissed me off the most about this match?
What?
Okay. A double pin. Okay. Yeah, alright, so, okay, a possible, we know a Dusty finish is coming. Can you tell me, what the, announced time limit on the match was?
1 hour, I believe?
I don't believe there was a time limit announced.
Oh. Usually the time limit is 1 hour.
And what does Adam Cole do? He asks for 5 more minutes. What sense, what logic does that make any sense? Oh my god. Yeah, okay. Great. If they had gone to a time limit draw, I'd understand that. But it was a literal double pin, and you're asking for just 5 more minutes? Not that type of draw, Budge. I mean, at least, part of me is wondering whether, Max was told to say what he said, or he realized that Adam Cole made that huge error in time judgment. Because at least Max says, no, 5 more minutes? No, we gotta go until there's a winner. And then they end it in the weirdest finish possible. They were really trying to be SummerSlam 92.
And you know what bothers me the most about it? You said the 5 more minutes, and I understood the sentiment of, I understood where they were going with it when, he asked for 5 more minutes and Max denied him, in their first match, whatever. The acting is so melodramatic. They're trying to be, you know, such good actors, and it just comes off really wonky and ungenuine. You know what I mean?
And considering that this is Cole's second pay-per-view main event for the title, and if you ask me, Adam Cole has had enough title shots for now.
It sounds like it's going to Roddy next.
Which is even more ridiculous. Because Roderick Strong isn't exactly established in the main event scene. He's literally there by association.
Well, I mean, they have to build somebody up, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's true, and there is history between Cole and Mike Bennett as well. But
does anybody care about a Mike Bennett Adam Cole match at this point?
No, but I don't understand what giving them the Ring of Honor tag titles was supposed to do.
It extends the story, and it makes and without actually giving them the main tag team championships because nobody's touching FTR at this point.
The, it, here's the thing: is that after Roderick Strong's promo on Dynamite, I'm thinking, oh, what? He'll bring in Kyle O'Reilly,
I'm not
and
sure if Kyle is ready to come back.
I don't think he is either. But that's where my mind was going because Strong said he was going to enter. I can't remember if the Kingdom were even in the match to begin with.
I don't think they knew if they won the match.
But I was, I was hoping maybe it would lead to Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly against MJF and Adam Cole at All Out. You say I'm very happy with who they're facing at All Out. I'm gonna say they probably don't exactly deserve it though. But it was decent, but MJF saying, "Oh, you want the belt? Fucking take it." That's not Max. I mean, we've been buying the fact that Max has changed, but we haven't forgotten that Max is Max.
He is the devil.
And to hear him say, "Oh, just take the you want the belt, take it," like, no. It's probably the least heel thing he's done after coming out with Cody at the first
Right.
review.
I mean, does anybody know if you don't know who Mike Bennett and Matt Taven are you going to know who they are? You get what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, all right, more generic white guys.
Yay. Okay. How many stars you give this one?
3.
I agree. Alright. The show as a whole. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle.
Thumbs down.
I give it thumbs in the middle. Like I said, I didn't have too many expectations going into this show, and I actually did enjoy some of the shit that was on it. It held my attention where a lot of the things AEW doesn't. That being said,
Just the fact that there was something about, oh, Tony Khan promises there's going to be changes to the card, that I think was a bit of their undoing. Like Tony was saying, that that some things were going to change, and some matches might be different. The fact that he said that was the most earnest indicator that he has no idea how to book a WrestleMania-esque event.
He feels anything that could work on the Indies could work in front of 80,000 people.
Yeah.
That being said, this was proclaimed the biggest event in wrestling history. And they, they, say what you will about it, they did draw a lot of people in an historic building. What, 81,000 debated, whatever. It was a lot of fucking people. And they made a lot of fucking money. But that being said, if it is the biggest event in wrestling history, let's I'll be kind and I'll say 5 years from now, are we going to remember any match that happened on this card?
I doubt if when they return to Wembley, we probably won't remember. I will say this though. Booking Wembley for another year, a year in advance, is probably the smartest pro wrestling business decision that Tony Khan has ever made. Because, you know, before we knew All In was going to be at Wembley, we knew Money in the Bank was going to be in London. And then we had, the possibility of John Cena saying, we want to bring WrestleMania to London. Well, there's only one stadium in London where you could do it.
Correct.
That's Wembley. And they now AEW may have brought a halt to any plans for WrestleMania to come to Wembley. Because if you think that the WWE is going to say, oh, yeah, we don't care that AEW is running at Wembley next summer. We're still gonna bring WrestleMania there. No, it won't happen. They won't do it. The only way it would happen now is if somehow between now and WrestleMania 41, which won't happen in London to begin with, but it wouldn't happen unless somehow a new 100,000 plus crowd stadium is built. So, maybe we get WrestleMania Goes Hawaiian. Wait, no, never mind. No, Hawaii burned down.
Boo. I don't think it's a smart decision whatsoever to book Wembley again. We, you and I both know. I think everybody knows. This motherfucker got lucky getting what he got for Wembley this time around. And
I'm not saying it was a good idea.
Okay.
I'm not saying it was a smart, competitive business maneuver. It'll come back to bite him in the ass, but it puts a halt in any plans for WrestleMania to be held outside North America.
Basically, drawing money away just despite WWE. That sounds right, Tony.
Yeah, but WrestleMania in any stadium, because of its legacy, can draw without any of the matches being known. And again, I will say this until the day I die. It didn't sell out because it was AEW. It sold out because it was pro wrestling in Wembley Stadium.
Agreed.
They wanted everyone in that crowd wanted to be able to say, "Yep, I was at the first wrestling show at Wembley Stadium in 30 years."
Agreed. Alright, that concludes our coverage of All In. And we are wrestling with Ring of Honor, AEW All Out 2023. It is tomorrow. Looking at this card, it sounds like Wembley got the better end of this deal. No, Scooter?
Yeah. Um, just wait until here. I reveal the potential replacement main event.
Alright. Well, let's start with the first match. A one Edward Kingston with Katsuri Sabata. They're fighting the Combat Wombats, Claudio Itacanoli, and Dord Wheeler Yuta. Tag team match. Nothing on the line, just a tag team match. Who wins, Scooter?
Nobody. We all lose. I think it's stupid not to have Claudio defending the ROH title.
I'm assuming
Uh,
they're saving that for final battle.
I mean, well, I'd say Grand Slam, but um, uh, I guess it depends on how long it takes Kingston to wash Abada's balls. Um, uh, do we really care who wins?
Double count
Good.
out?
I'll go with ECC.
Oh, that's fine. I'll go with the Wombats as well. Ring of Honor World Television Championship match: Samoa Joe versus Shane Taylor. If there's any match that I would be interested in or get invested in, it's probably this match. Shane Taylor is a fantastic wrestler, and him wrestling Samoa Joe, I can't imagine it's going to suck. Or what say you, Sheila?
You know, I really was hoping we would get Samoa Joe fighting his arch enemy, Gravity. Because let's face it, Samoa Joe and Gravity aren't exactly two things that go together.
I mean, Gravity sucks, if I'm being honest. It's the
Hell,
stupidest.
I want Pac and Gravity to team up. The man that Gravity forgot and Gravity.
So he forgot to tag him in?
Maybe Pac can't see Gravity. Oh man.
Oh my god.
Every time I see Gravity and he does that stupid fucking slow-mo thing. And yes, I am aware Samoa Joe did actually fight Gravity a number of weeks ago.
Yes.
I'm talking about the actual law of gravity. You know, if somehow they manage to start flying, and hey, I guess somebody's defying gravity. That being said, no one's gonna buy the event for Samoa Joe and Shane Taylor.
No.
But if there's any match that's underestimated, it's this one.
100%.
I'm hoping Joe gives enough shine to Taylor to make it worthy. That being said, there's, you know what? You know, the one person who has never minded losing a title is Joe. Joe is the man, is the champion you want, because he's willing to put people over. So you know what? I'm gonna say Shane wins it.
I'm going with Joe. There's no way he loses to CM Punk and then Shane Taylor back to back on in a week span.
Hey, don't forget, Samoa Joe jobbed to Ricochet for the U.S. Intercontinental, or was it the U.S. title? U.S. title, I think. So
I think that may have happened in like a fever thing you had. I have no recollection
no,
of that.
no, it happened. It happened at a PLE.
Well, it did wonders for Ricochet's career. I'm going to Joe. Um, this may as well be the main event. We
But it
don't
won't be.
know. Odds are it is. The Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship match. Better than you, baby. Budge and Adam. Budge and MJF versus Alex Reynolds and John Silver, the Dark Order.
Better than you, BUDGE.
I don't
So
even
proud.
have, a quippy or interesting thing to say about Silver or Reynolds because we don't talk about them that often.
Think about this. I'm gonna put this in your mind. In some alternate universe, this is me and John Silver.
Okay.
Just look at that for a second. I hope I find my way to that universe someday.
Well, the scooter of this universe that I'm talking to right now, who does he think is going to win?
I see no reason to keep the ROH tag titles on MJF and Cole. I don't think MJF and Cole should have been competing them in the first place. That's like, God. Remember when the NWA had the World Tag Team titles and the United States Tag titles? Like the ROH tag titles, whenever they're on AEW television, are the inferior titles by default.
It's literally just to give Adam Cole and MJF something to do.
Yeah, okay, but I mean, now that Adam Cole has won, the only title that he could actually logically win, that he hasn't, because let's face it, he's never going to be AEW World Champion.
He might.
he has a better chance of being WWE World Heavyweight Champion now more than ever. That being said, they take one step forward and they tumble all the way back down the stairs. Better than you, baby, to retain.
Agreed. Then we have Bullet Club Platinum, Gold, whatever you want to call them. Gin and Juice, the Ass Boys, they're fighting FTR and the Middle-Aged Bucks. How the fuck did this happen?
A backstage confrontation when FTR went to get.
I know the segment. I'm just asking, how did this happen?
Why is there an 8-man tag featuring? I mean, I guess this is what they call a night off from title defenses.
And I mean, in Chicago, of all places.
I mean, there is no main event singles title on the line here in this entire event.
Yes, there is. We'll get into it.
The International Championship is not a main event title, neither is the TNT Championship.
Well, at this point, it might as well be.
But it's not. Either way, does it really matter who wins this?
Good question.
I mean, it looks like they're trying to go with FTR, Gin and Juice.
Which makes no sense because the Guns are a tag team.
I mean, the Guns have no place in Bullet Club in any form, any color.
It's ironic their dad was Bullet Club Hunter at one point.
Bullet Club Hunter Hearst Helmsley, yes. That being said, the hairlines of the Young Bucks are already in this match, and once Matt and Jeff actually get there, they will continue the match. I'm assuming this leads to some sort of clusterfuck where FTR gets pinned, and Bullet Club fight amongst themselves to determine who actually gets to face FTR. So Bullet Club Gold for the win.
Sure. Twinkle Toes McFingerfuck versus Kolkutska Take Shitter. Who wins?
You're loving the fact that I pointed out it was Take Shitter.
I always called him Kolkutska, but you like Take Shitter, so.
I mean, because it literally says Take Shitter.
But I feel like that's the easy way out.
Really? Oh, really? Twinkle Toes McFingerfuck. Really?
I mean, that's a Jim Cornette thing. I just find it hilarious.
Oh, come up with your own material. All right, then who's in Take?
But I mean, you're not going to get better than that, if I'm being honest.
All right, then who's in Take Shitter's corner then?
Don Callis, they call him Don Fallis. I call him I don't give a fuckus.
I was going to say Don Callis on my foot needs to be lanced off. Again, nobody's going to give a shit. But watch this be the match where Takeshita kicks out of the one-winged angel.
Never gonna happen.
See, if this was the logical stipulation for this match is if Omega wins, he gets 5 minutes with Don Callis.
It's a PG show, Scooter.
I didn't say he was going to put Don Callis up his ass, but now that I think about it,
You're talking about a guy that's signature move was called the Golden Shower.
well, keep him away from all liquids then. Ooh, interesting stipulation. The winner of the match is the first person to be on their opponent. I mean, since now it looks like we're getting Jericho and Guevara against Aussie Open, I guess Jericho, the feud with Callis is not going to go anywhere anymore. God, maybe we get another Kenny Jericho feud over who gets to beat the shit out of Callis first. Either way, Omega wins this one without a shadow of a doubt.
Hey, it sounds right. But, is it confirmed Aussie Open versus, Jericho?
I mean, based on what happened on Rampage, I'm assuming something's going to go down at Collision. Also, by the way, Dennis Rodman's going to be on Collision.
Interesting. Is his tag team partner, Kim Jong-un coming in it?
No, Rodman is his own tag team partner. He's just going to dress the other half of him up like a bride. I mean, they couldn't get Michael Jordan, so they might as well get Dennis Rodman. Who knows? Maybe we'll get Malone Rodman too.
Oh, God.
I think it's safe to assume it's not official yet, but I can't imagine them not doing it.
And cover Jericho win, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. That was easy. We got the, International Championship match. Freshly Pooped on Cassidy versus John Moxley. Who wins this field?
They are turning Cassidy into a cynical asshole, and I don't know if I like it. That being said, this title started out as the tertiary or third place singles title, and it became the secondary title because let's face it, nobody's equated the TNT Championship with the Intercontinental Championship or the United States Championship.
Not at this point, no.
Cassidy and Moxley is it's an unusual choice. This is where all the blood comes from. I'm surprised they haven't figured out a way for Cassidy to bleed orange juice.
It's gonna happen eventually.
There's no reason Moxley needs this title. But I'm still gonna sing Wild Thing. You make my butt sting. You make everything embarrassing. Because I will always think of Charlie Sheen when I hear that. Cassidy retains.
You honestly believe Orange Cassidy is going to beat Moxley?
Yes.
I say before the match starts, they make it that match rules and Moxley wins. TBS Championship match: Chris Statlander versus Ruby Soho. Who wins? Scooter.
First off, congrats to Chris Statlander, who was recently honored by Create a Pro out here on Long Island.
That's right. The
Um,
first women's championship of Creative Pro features Chris Statlander on the side plate.
yep. That being said, seems like they forgot about the TBS Championship, didn't they?
I mean, she's been on TNT more often than not.
I know, but still, I mean, it seems like, oh yeah, we forgot we're the promotion that actually has two singles women's championships.
Yeah.
I like the fact that it's Ruby, and that Tony Storm hasn't like tried to weasel her way into this.
That'd be
That being
interesting.
that being said, I say Statlander retains, thanks to Tony Storm.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Statlander as well. Alright, singles match for the AEW TNT Championship. Luchasaurus versus WL. Who wins? Scooter.
Oh God. Maybe this is because now that Perry is a heel, you know, wouldn't it make sense to put Jurassic Express back together?
But he's not a jungle boy anymore. And he's a dinosaur.
All right. They could be. I don't fucking know. I mean, Luchasaurus hasn't been doing much. The fact that Cage is walking around like he's the champion is the most interesting thing about this. We're gonna see something here that affects the outcome. So I'm gonna say Luchasaurus retains.
I'm calling Darby. And the last match, the main event, the thing everybody came to see. Mero versus fucking Powerhouse Hobbs. Is this going to be the eight star classic match that everybody expects it to be, Scooter? Because I can't,
It will be so many stars. They haven't created a name for the number. This amount of the stars that this match will generate.
a Googleplex of stars.
No, that's a number. That's got a name. Either way, no one gives a shit. No one's gonna care who wins. No one's gonna care who loses. Um, you know who's gonna lose?
Us?
Everybody's septic case, because everybody's gonna go take a dump at the same time during this match. But for the heck of it, I mean, they've irreparably damaged his career already. So fuck it. Hobbs is gonna win. We know it. We already know it.
Sure, why not?
Now, would you like to know what the probable main event is going to be?
Cassidy and Moxley.
No, it's not any of these.
Oh, okay. What?
It the main event is going to be Ricky Starks, as planned, in a strap match against Ricky Steamboat.
Oh, God.
Steamboat will answer the challenge on Collision. He hasn't answered it already. Given that Punk Starks was supposed to main event this, Starks and Steamboat, ladies and gentlemen, is your all-out main event. I mean, assuming that Starks, the plan is still have Starks in the main event, this is what I'm going with. Yes, I know most likely something else will be put in its spot. If I had to say anything, it'll probably be the ROH tag title match.
What are the odds that they unsuspend CM Punk by the time of Collision later tonight, and they set up Starks and Punk for this one?
It's either that or Starks and Steamboat happens as planned. It goes maybe about 4 or 5 minutes, and then Punk comes out, and boom, we have an improv main event for pay-per-view.
Just like Austin and Owen. But I do agree with you. If anything is probably, as it stands right now at the matches that are confirmed, if there is a main event, it's going to be better than you, Bebe, or Darby, or and Luchasaurus, in my opinion. Alright, I believe I will conclude our coverage of AEW All Out and this episode as a whole. Join us next Saturday as we review WWE Payback and All Out. It should be interesting, I suppose. Yeah. Of course, thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, go on YouTube and Castbox. This is sponsored by Road Energy and Total Coffee. Follow the show. Well, before you follow the show, catch our interview this Tuesday with Tristan Stone, this Wednesday with Vito Fratelli. Follow the show at Wrestling with E, both on Instagram and Twitter apps, for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JMC993. Where can we find Scooter?
As always, find me on X at Scooter Dust. Keep an eye open for the impending return of the remix, the end of October, mid-November, and revel in my Dungeons and Dragons hijinks, along with Rico Constantino Jr. and the rest of the Smoking Dragons clan, twitch.tv/Smoking Dragons.
Well, Kaliko Yatsen, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.